Hello, everyone. This is our conversation with Lorraine again, part two. For the ones who didn't see the video on part one, I will leave a link in the description. And for those of you who did, we are going to kind of continue the discussion and talk about the fake targeted individuals, fake organizations. We will talk a little bit about the law. And then at the end, we will end with a kind of what we agreed on would be a solution that could work for us, targeted individuals. So, hello, Lorraine. Nice to chat
Hi.
with you again.
Hi, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you. Let's start. How do we start? I think we ended last time talking about the fake targeted individuals, the fake organizations, the fake like how everything is fake in this community and how they are taking advantage of the victims to make money.
Yes.
Let's start with the organizations. Was that organization in I think it was in Belgium first.
Okay.
I can't remember the name. It was active for a few years.
Is that Ikator?
Ikator, yeah. I'm not good with names. Thank you. They kind of made some good stuff at the beginning, and then they kind of faded. Am I correct?
That's correct.
They did scanning. They did all sorts of stuff.
Yes, yes.
And they kind of disappeared, faded into nowhere. They kept the website active, but nobody would answer, and they wouldn't carry on scans and everything. Then the next one that I know was the one which Ella Free was involved. I'm not sure what's the name of that. Justice for Targeted Individuals or something like that. And they were active in the community for a while, making banners and were active in groups, and they were doing interviews and everything, and then they disappeared after a while.
Yes.
Which one was the next one? The other one which was active and was kind of active lately, I'm not sure if he had an organization or not, it's Magnus also.
Oh, yes, yes.
He was kind of active and did a good job, but he kind of disappeared. His last actions were he was with ONU or something like that, UN, United Nations.
Yes,
trying to do law
on Racketeur. Oh my goodness, what was it called? Something like Racketeur of torture, something to that effect.
Yeah, they keep making these kind of names. I didn't do the research on it because people who are targeted for many years, they know what we are talking about.
Yes.
For those who don't know what we are talking about, I would just say this: don't trust anyone, any organization, any NGO, anyone who call themselves justice and who call themselves any like fancy and dedicated names to promote justice, because that's not justice. That's just an illusion. What they are doing with these organizations, they are making NGOs. They are making money by asking for donations. They are active in the community, so they can prove that they are a legit organization. Then they apply for loans. They apply for grants. They get paid by the perps, by the gangstalkers, by the, I don't know who's behind it, the government or the FBI, the CIA. They are all involved, the military industrial complex, the psychiatric industry, big pharma, they are all involved. So they are milking the targeted individuals. They are milking the government with their fake organizations. and NGOs. They are milking the other institutions.
Mhm.
They are giving false hope
Yes.
to the community, and then they disappear.
Yes.
And yeah, I forgot to mention Catherine Horton.
Yes. Catherine Horton. She had a
She
survey.
was she had a Stop 007 website,
Yes. Yes.
and she was kind of active doing the lawsuits and everything.
Yes.
I think that was just more like making statistics, how many targeted are out there and how many are willing to do something about it. And
Well,
then
on her behalf, her survey, which was several pages long, was the best survey I have ever seen in the community. It was so detailed. She didn't miss a beat. There are other groups whose names I won't mention that are very popular now with their lawsuit that are data collectors. And, you know, since I've been in the community since 2017, although targeted well before that, it's always been about a class action suit, but that never happens. You know, the billboards came and went. And by the way, I'm just going to say it for the record because it's true. The billboards were not her idea. They were mine. Billboards were my idea. It was stolen from me. A lot of ideas from targeted people that come into the community are stolen from them and used by these agent provocateurs, groups, and stuff. I could prove it.
yeah, they are stealing everything. And they, like Ella stole, well, I can say plagiarizing more than stealing, because like I said in my first in our first chat, I said when they said to like join us or we're going to leave you alone, and I said no, you don't leave me alone, you leave everybody else alone, because if you're not going to save me, I'm not here to be saved, I'm here to save. And I refuse to allow a bunch of criminals, thieves, and illiterates to kill the best people of this world. And then
Yes,
she used almost word by word in one of her gatherings, and she was shouting out loud for everyone to hear her what she was
yes,
saying. What were actually my words. So yeah, that's what they are doing. They are taking from the community. They are putting everything together, make themselves look good, make the rest look bad. Because if I would have come to say, yeah, you are repeating what I'm saying, she would have called me crazy or paranoid or, you know,
mhm,
like they call us all sorts of mental illnesses, or
yes, yes,
and saying that we are stealing from them and not the other way around.
right. Well, we're still
And
here. Not.
we
What
are
does that
still
tell?
here because we are not giving up, and they disappeared. Probably they fill up their pockets and then they left.
Yes, and maybe
You were
they're threat. Maybe you know. I don't believe, in my opinion, and this is just an opinion. I don't believe that she was a targeted person. She did interviews on targeted people. She took all of those interviews down. She closed the website. The domain name is for sale. Didn't notify anyone. I was one of the first people whose testimony she removed. She removed it out of spite because I called her out on a podcast. She didn't like it. So she immediately left me a voice message, sent me multiple emails, very immature, in my opinion. This is not the way adults communicate with each other. Um, but yeah, I called her out as, well, you cannot put yourself forward on a hotline taking suicide calls. You're not a therapist and you have a duty to report. If you get a phone call and somebody, a targeted person, is telling you they're suicidal, you don't take that call. You've got a duty. Well, that's what it is. It's a duty to report. I've got to report it. If I know somebody's abusing a child, I have to call the authorities. You don't just sit there and start taking the calls and collecting money because somebody is in the community is suicidal. So I called her out on that. That you've
selling
got to.
false hope.
Oh, but she didn't. She shut down the call because of that. There was a hotline. After I called her out on that, she shut down that hotline. She
I
had
called her
somebody.
out in one of the groups, and someone said, "Oh, uh, she got busted." And she also repeated some things like, at first when they call us crazy for reading our minds, and I was thinking to myself, how can a secret service be a good organization? Why they are keeping it secret? Like, if you save people's lives, if you are doing all the good things, why would you keep that something good secret? You don't need
Mhm.
to keep a secret for giving someone money to help them out, or help them with a job, or save them from somebody else. You would
Right.
make everything public. And she
Yes.
said the exact same thing, like one of her like videos. And I was like, yeah, that's a strange coincidence. And after I
Hmm.
was watching her more and more and more, then it became more obvious that, yeah, she is a fake one.
Yeah.
And the problem with the targeted individuals is, I'm not saying they are stupid. I don't want to use harsh language. Some of them are,
Hmm.
and some of them are fake targeted and pretend to be targeted, and they might make the rest of them look stupid. Most of the targeted individuals are smart people. There are some dumb people there, and the most important part is education. I keep saying it. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Because if you don't know what's going on, you will follow fake saviors. And you
Absolutely.
will follow the butcher to the slaughterhouse, and you will get killed.
Hmm.
If you are smart enough, you might get recruited to join them. Otherwise, you will end up dead, because that's the purpose of this program. They will either kill you or they will make you kill yourself.
Right.
And education is like everything. That's what I would say in this case. How to stay away from them. I fell for it at the beginning. I tried to contact her. I sent her an email and she never replied. But after I educated myself and I looked into things, I started to see clearly what's happening.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Well, I fell into that trap too, because in 2017, when I realized what was happening after searching online, of course, that her name popped up, and I looked, and that she was taking testimony, and I wanted to record my testimony, and I gave her like I think it was a 3-hour interview. She did take it down in spite, but somebody else had posted it, so I was able to save it. Um, but it was literally within 9 months of that testimony that I provided, that I started noticing things that just didn't make any sense, and that seemed she was just lying about things. She gave an interview on Frank Allen's call about her quote unquote targeting, but she lied about some of the circumstances that she'd even mentioned in one of the rallies, like online, which has been removed also. So all the evidence gets removed. But so I picked up on the fact that she said one thing, and I'm not talking about, if for real targeted people, we forget all the little details sometimes, but we don't forget what happened.
yeah,
We
that's true.
right, we don't forget what happened. We might forget all the little details. It's like, oh no, you know what? Remember that. Um, but it was it was something to do with her saying that she was married at the time, and then another time she said she wasn't married at the time. So
Yeah, they are
yeah,
lying to fit the script.
exactly,
Another
exactly.
problem with the targeted individuals talking about the video being shared and taken down. My videos are barely shared. My book is barely shared. My website is barely shared. I'm not saying nobody is sharing it, but very few people do. And targeted individuals are not united, because if they would be united and educated, they would. I'm not putting myself in a hero's shoes here, because what I'm trying to say is everyone who can reach to my level, let's put it that way, and try to make something which we will discuss later about when the solutions are coming to discuss. it won't be successful because targeted individuals are not educated and they're not united. Instead of sharing like the perps are, they're stupid and they're dumb, they are retarded and illiterate, but they're still successful because they are united and they are keep sharing that misinformation over and over and over again, and people are coming across that misinformation, and that's how they are successful. My videos are not shared, and I have 15 videos, good videos, are not shared. My profiles, I have 3 Facebook profiles, are all blocked in groups. I can barely share. My posts are not getting approved. I'm saying to everyone, share my videos. Nobody does. And then we kind of fade into the abyss, into nowhere, no matter how hard we are trying to do, how hard we are working on, and how much effort we are putting into. And to be honest, I'm not doing it for me at this point. Because at this point, I'm good enough to be immune to everything, to have a job, to do whatever I want. And I'm not really, I'm doing it for the people. That's the main reason. And the second reason is I'm doing it to stop this crap because
Yes.
it's not right. But people still don't appreciate it. People want some sort of magic pill or like an app, something to press a button and then make everything go away. We are attacked from many fronts, and they are doing not like nobody wants to put in the effort to help themselves, to save themselves. They just think that, okay, I'm going to give someone some money, or I'm going to follow this person or that person. They will make everything go away. My life will be good again. It's not how it works, because they attack us from all fronts. We have to learn first how it works to be able to protect ourselves from all fronts. Yes, we
Yes.
were talking about organization. You mentioned something about laws and how to contact the authorities and what we could do
Right,
on that.
right. I wanted to just add one thing about groups is the calls, the quote unquote, the calls, the podcasts, the lives that all of these groups have. I don't want to name them because we all know who they are. They'll have calls on Monday night, on Tuesday, Wednesday night, a Friday night, Saturday, whatever. All these calls, a lot of data is being collected. There's a lot of animosity on the calls. People get on there just to have a form of community because they're lonely. You know, a lot of targeted people live alone. There are so many other phone calls out there that you can get on that are more productive than getting on a call where you've got half of the people on the call are perps. They're there as agent provocateurs. The people that are the quote unquote leaders of the call, you know, whose name the call is under, they're in there for the money. And you know, a lot of them, you said somebody offered you $500,000. Nobody's ever offered me money, by the way. I'm just going to say it for the record. No one has ever offered me money to rat on somebody, to not continue this. I'm being asset stripped unmercifully.
Yeah, because
Stop.
we can I can add something and then we can
Yes, yes. So about those
we
calls, stay off the calls. They're totally unproductive. It's one thing if they announce that there's a special speaker on the call. You want to get in to listen to the special speaker. But I know because
yeah, like you invited me once to speak on one of those calls.
Yes, well, I was an unsuspected moderator for the Chief Damon Jones conference call for 2 years. I'm not going to go into the details because this is going to be live and stuff, but I quit. Just so that everybody knows, I quit. I resigned. I wanted nothing to do with it anymore. Actually called him out on some things that he lied about. On the conference call, the conference call is no longer recorded to the best of my knowledge. I don't get on there anymore. I don't get on anybody's conference call. I have been interviewed multiple times by Frank Allen. Okay. I gave up on that man after he interviewed me, and I'm going to say it, Nerve Gorilla, the predator on the internet that harasses, you know, men, women, targeted people, that I reported to the police and the attorney general, etc. I don't want to bring him up too much anymore. However, I was interviewed by Frank Allen about him, played the recordings that he left on my voicemail. I never gave out my phone number. And Frank never aired it. He refused to air it. So evidently, this guerrilla person contacted him and they perped it together to not air my interview.
I think I contacted Frank and he never got back to me.
Yeah, when he did that, I blocked his phone number. I want nothing to do with him. So either he's a double agent, a perp, I don't know what he is, but the fact that he interviewed me and he appeared to be concerned, he really did. He appeared to be concerned and then didn't air that interview tells me everything that I need to know about him. Want nothing to do with him.
They are selling
Ella tell you everything. He's still
they are given heroes. That's
There's
what
no
they are.
hero to me. None of these people are heroes. I've been in this community since 2017. No one has won a lawsuit. No one has filed a lawsuit. No one has filed complaints to all the sheriff's departments in the country. And they have the ability. What happened to those billboards? Where'd the money go that was collected for all those billboards? When were those billboards torn down? Right?
They made a few just to prove that they are having some activity. But other than that, they don't care.
Now,
they are in it for the money.
Hey, billboards don't go up indefinitely. You have to pay for them on a monthly basis. So you pay a flat fee when they're erected, you know, and then you have to pay for them on a monthly basis or quarterly basis. If they're still up, let me know. If there's somebody out there that has still seen those old billboards, you know, with the woman crying in the yellow and she's dripping, you know, which wouldn't have been my idea for a billboard, but the woman crying, the yellow background and stuff, you know, the targeted color. If they're still up, let me know. I don't know. There was one in California. There was one in Michigan. If somebody knows that these billboards are still erected and being paid for, I would like to know. If not, I'd like to know taken down.
Because what they do to get these grants, because when you apply for a grant, you have to prove your activity, right? Because yes. I was looking into grants before when I was planning to open up an agro-tourism business. And we have funds from European Union, and if you can apply for a rural development funds.
Yes.
And it works this way. You have the money for the property. You have some money to invest in. You come in with a good business plan, which is suitable for the specific area. Then you prove that you started working on that, business. And then you go in, you apply for a grant, and then you apply for a loan. And then they have sent someone to your property to see what progress have you done, what if that plan fits the area, and whatever you did, if you are qualified and all that stuff. And then they give you a part of the money, and then after that they give you the rest of the money, and they're not giving you just. So that's why these people today, they put up a board, and then the next few months they made a protest, and then and slowly they fill up their pockets with all the money, and then they disappeared. Poof, magic.
Well, this is the way. What you described about how you apply for grants and receive them and have to provide
that's how it works, like everywhere.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, I could apply for a grant. I have a 501c3 nonprofit cat rescue. I could apply for a grant. But in addition to the granting, they were receiving direct donations from the targeted community. They also still have a GoFundMe that's still up. Matthew Aaron has it on behalf of Ella. It's still there. The last time I looked, which was about 2 months ago, it was still there. People still donating money. There was a Patreon. I don't know where that went. So the money is still coming in, going somewhere. And then there was a woman, a benefactor at the NIH, who I know for a fact who is donating large sums of money for the billboard. She's no longer employed there or retired. So you had multiple avenues.
Some of it is also money laundering.
That's a lot of money.
And fraud and money laundering too.
lot of money. But
It's all
this is
about the money. They don't care about anything else. Just about the
there
money.
are homeless targeted people. There are people that I know that can't buy food. And all the money that funneled into these agencies, I never saw a food pantry, apply to us, prove to us that you're homeless, and we'll pay, we'll get you food. We'll pay for a month's rent for you.
They're
I've
not
never
in it for the
done
food. They are
anything
not
like
in it to help.
no, there's no help for targeted people. I mean, unless you have family, friends, unless you inherit money, unless you're on disability, unless you can get a job. There in the community, there might be a couple of people that'll donate to a couple of individuals once in a while, but there's nothing coming from these agencies, these podcasts.
There is no community.
Raised for targeted people.
There is no community in the targeted community. They just call themselves community. The only community is the perp community pretending to be victims. Because even them, and with all the cases, like let's say you apply for like damage, I don't know how is it called. I'm trying to make the right wording. Like sue the government and ask them to give you money for the damage they caused you. I'm not sure how that towards that in like legal terms.
Damages. It would
yeah.
be.
So they pretend to be victims. They put their names over there and they go to sue the government and with the agencies and whatever they are doing, just in case if something, something happens and some money are given, they are taking those, that payment. Plus, they kind of prove themselves to be victims and not perps. So they are playing both camps.
Yes, I hear what you're saying.
Because I saw a few of them doing that, like playing both camps.
Well, there's also you have a YouTube channel. I do. A lot of targeted people have YouTube channels, and there are so many trolls and perps on the YouTube channels, like the one that we were discussing before we went live now.
Yeah, we can go into that now.
Yes, please do.
Okay, let me start it. How we started it. So, our first chit chat, I was watching the comments on my channel and on your channel. And then someone commented on Lorraine's channel saying that it's her fault because she moved into a bad area. She should have known that that neighborhood, it's a bad neighborhood for cats and for like pets and animal lovers. And it's all her fault and she should just throw the towel.
Yes.
And I commented, if you just want her property, why didn't you just make her an offer? Like tell her, okay, we are going to give you this amount of money and we are offering you to buy your property. And then I said, of course you didn't make an offer because you are all parasites, you are all thieves, and it's easier to kill someone than pay them. And you're all you're all Masonic parasitic organisms. And then after a while, that comment just disappeared because I just called him right on the spot.
Yes. Well, I believe I know who that person was because that individual was saying things that only somebody who would have intimate details of my lifestyle here, of the neighbors, of other things, would only have intimate details of that if they were a neighbor, a perp, an agent, or whatever. When people post comments under my videos who I've never seen post before, I go to their profile. It's a new profile. It could be an old profile, but there's no videos, and they only leave comments on my channel. Because you can see if they've left comments somewhere else. They're only leaving comments on my channel. And it's derogatory, defamatory, libelous. I tell them flat out and I get rid of them. I immediately. So any comments that you would have made under that person would have disappeared as well. But that person said basically that how could I move to an area where any animal that moves will get shot at? You know, that the neighbors, that the people here, they'll shoot at anything that moves. That's what they said. They'll shoot at anything that moves. Oh, well, I move.
something along those lines. Yeah.
And speaking of which, last night, as soon as I exited my front door, it had to have been one of the neighbors. They set off an explosive in the back of my property. As soon as I walked out the door, an explosive went off. It's not the first time. And they're supposed to be intimidating me, right? They're trying to get me off the property so they can take it over. But I do want to say something about what you were describing, just for the people that are tuning in for the first time and don't know what we're talking about. Like, they might be your subscribers, don't know anything about my life here. I moved from Manalapan, New Jersey, and a home I lived in for 30 years as the original owner. I became targeted there. I moved to rural Kentucky. Less than 800 people living here. I purchased the property from a man who passed away a year and a half before. The property was available for sale or dividing for more than a year and a half. And the original owner was also in hospital for months before. So everybody knew that this 96-year-old man was going to die and that his property would become available, and that all the local people who claimed to have been living here for 20 and 30 years, and Lorraine moved in and she changed the neighborhood. Everybody had a chance to buy this property. They could have bought a piece of it. They could have bought half of it. They could have bought a quarter of it. They could have bought all of it. Nobody made an offer. It was available, and Lorraine bought it. Okay,
I bought it. It's not about the money. I mean, it's not about the money. It is about the money, but it's not about giving the money. It's about taking the money.
They're thieves.
Because they are thieves. They call themselves the Empire of Thieves. Like I said, my cousin married a police officer, and on my one of my uncle's birthdays, when I've been there to the party, he called themselves the Empires of Thieves. Of course, he's a Freemason, because that piece of shit harassed me while I was there, more helping than partying. And he was kind of a stranger, because I was with my family, if you can call it that way, and he was the stranger there, and he had audacity, how do you say that word? I can't pronounce it, to harass me and to call themselves the Empire of Thieves. They are so arrogant and so pathetic in the same time.
Yes.
Like,
and entitled.
They are entitled and fraudsters. They are doing the same thing in Romania with the gypsies. They move in a family of gypsies into a good neighborhood. They'll make noise. They will make a lot of dirt. They'll make the life impossible for everybody who lives into that apartment, like block or that area. Destroy the area completely. People would sell their apartments and their flats, and then the people coming in to buy would be their own people. It's organized crime.
Yeah.
Organized crime is like domestic terrorism. It's very well planned ahead. And then when the people are trying to sell their apartments, they are coming in, pointing out the flaws, pointing out the dirt, pointing out the bad neighborhood, even if it's a good neighborhood. Pay the like almost nothing for that property. And after they are taking over a few properties and everybody leaves, they are taking the gypsies and they are moving them into a different area.
Yes.
And then they refurbish everything and then they sell it for like very high prices. It's fraud. That's what these people are doing. Fraud. They are pedophiles. They are parasites. They are basically parasitic organisms, because you cannot call them other way. They call themselves smart for doing that, for being parasites, but it's nothing smart to be a parasite. Because if you will be smart, you will have honor, you would go to that person if you want the property, offer her money, turn that property, like in your case, from a farm into a permaculture agrotourism spot.
Yes.
If you will be competent enough, put the work and the investment in, and then sell it at a profit.
Yes.
That's how an honorable businessman operates. A parasite would make your life a living hell to make you commit suicide, to make fake documents, and to take over. They are
Yes.
parasites. They
And
are
what you
not. They are not smart. They are
No.
parasitic.
no. And as we were discussing before we went live, is I call it real estate mobbing. This is not something that's just happening to me. It's happening across the United States. It's happening to anybody that owns a real estate. If you're divorced, single, elderly, you inherit money. There was a guy in New Jersey that standed to inherit money from his wealthy mom. They targeted him. They target people. Of course,
They're
a lot of
targeting
single people that are friends, but they really go after the people that own property, that own land. And I own land here. I owned a house in New Jersey that I had to subsequently sell for less than it was worth. And they blacklisted me for 3 years, so I couldn't sell the house. And exactly what you described. One of theirs moved in, a cop. My house was sold to a cop. And they're moving all the police officers into where I previously lived because the police department is down the block. They have a lot of money.
About cops and about the system. Like with the drugs, for example. They are not having a war on drugs.
Oh, no.
They are having a war on the competition. Because even the CIA is called Cocaine Import Agency. Even all the police are Freemasons. It's the I don't want to sound racist or anti-Semitic now. I will be called, but you know what the people I'm talking about, the other types of gypsies who are controlling the show because they all dress the same.
I call them the Deluminati.
The Deluminati, the Delusionati. They are all acting as parasites. They are not acting like honorable people, and that's their whole system. They are creating terrorism, and then they are calling the victims terrorists. They are always playing the victims when they are the ones who are the bad people. They are doing the targeting, and they are targeting in Romania a lot of business people. And when the business people end up killing themselves, they are going to the news and they are saying that, that businessman from that city committed suicide because he owed money to whatever he had debt. He didn't have any debts. He was attacked by these parasites, by these Masonic parasites, and killed. And then they took over his businesses. They took over his everything. Exactly like what they want to do with you. Take over your property and then call you crazy for calling them out.
Well, and they're destroying my property. And they did the same thing in New Jersey. They want to depreciate the property. They want to make it appear as if I'm not caring for my property. I literally, last week, I documented this, had a helicopter and a small plane over my house burning with some kind of device, a laser or whatever, burning the grass on my property. Burning it. All of it. I've got a video, photo of it. And then somebody came and filled my nonprofit building with some kind of dust that I can't get rid of. I documented this on my channel too. It's an all-out assault on my property.
They want your property. That motherfucker was clear enough when he said, "Just drop the towel." And then he gave you example with his one of his friends and shit. That's what they are doing all the time, like trying to tell you what you should do by giving you example. My friend did this and that, like kind of give you suggestion what you should do. And you shouldn't drop the towel, because if you drop the towel, I drop the towel, everybody drops the towel, they will continue to do what they are doing. We are not dropping anything here. We are standing still and we are exposing them, and eventually people will have enough of them sooner or later, because even what's happening around the world, it's still manufactured by them. Like, they are killing the farmers, they are destroying the economy. Everything they are doing is done by them. We are just one small segment of victims, the targeted individuals. But I don't know if anybody wants to admit it or not. Every single person on this planet is their victim in one way or another. We are talking about the same person. We are talking about the Jews, the Jesuits, the Freemasons, the Illuminatis, and a handful of parasitic organisms who want to control the rest of us.
Oh, that, you know, most of them are they're very disordered. They're personality disordered. They're addicts. They have addictive personalities. They're psychopaths. They don't think like us. So if you're going to divide people up, it's like it literally is us and them. Where would be considered the empaths? Not that we're all empathic. Just like if you're going to divide it up, you have the people that care, and the people that don't care, and the people that don't care. Think of the people that do care as needing to be annihilated. They're
just imagine how stupid the average Joe is. Because I'm going to the supermarket, they are harassing me, right? The workers, minimum wage slaves. I'm not sugarcoating anything. Fuck them. And I'm going to the supermarket being harassed by a minimum wage slave. Because the minimum wage slave, if he's saying a number or a word, he's getting that, I don't know how you call that in psychology, the momentum reward or something like that. They are paying them per action. So if he says a word, he will get paid like a small amount of money.
Yeah, it's like a positive reinforcement.
Yeah, it's like a psychological trick to it's like the reward mechanism in people's brains gets activated when he gets like a short-term reward, and it's better than the long-term reward.
Right.
Like the later gratification, you better get it now. I'm not sure how to explain it. You understand it because you studied psychology.
That's correct.
And we are like rats because they studied rats, and we are acting like the same way. So the minimum wage slaves are getting paid a few bucks to harass me and other people like me who are productive people of society. They are worthless slaves who are being kept slaves by the same people who are harassing me. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yes.
So the minimum wage slave, it's killing himself and enslaving himself for a minimum wage, and killing me who wants to help them, give him free energy, good food, and everything, and kissing the ass of his master who's keeping him enslaved for a minimum wage, and he's taking half of his wage as taxes. This is the intelligence.
It just doesn't make sense to a healthy mind.
My processor just went into overdrive, and like, how can you turn against me when I give you everything, and you kissing the ass of the people who are killing you, are jabbing you and keeping you enslaved and keeping you poor and everything. And
they want to feel part of something bigger. They want to feel
because they are losers. They are nobodies. They are minimum wage slaves, and they are feeling themselves important when they are harassing people.
Right.
Yeah, but at the beginning, I'm just going to finish with this. At the beginning, I thought, okay, they told the world that I'm a horrible person, right? So that's why people think that I'm a horrible person. They are treating me bad. But after all these years, everything going on, I have public videos, I have public everything. I'm probably the most famous targeted individuals of all times. I'm the one who told them to suck my willy, and I'm not going to give in. And I've been harassed by Alex Jones and by like famous people, believe me or not. That's why I say I'm probably one of the most famous targeted individuals that I ever lived. And they are still treating me badly after everything I did, and I do it for them. Because if I give free energy to someone, they are going to get that free energy, right? If I'm going to build an organic farm and I'm going to make it like some sort of a course or school or something, like I wanted to make, like an agro-tourism place where you could come and learn and develop yourself as a person. So if I'm helping you, you are killing me. It just doesn't make any sense. You can't fix stupid. That's the conclusion.
That's happened here. I had 3 greenhouses, and I was going to grow food, and it could go to the community, and my chickens also. You know, I always have more than I need, so I can sell it, I can give it away. But they tore down my greenhouses, brand new. They weren't even here a year, and they're gone.
Yeah, and the same people who turned down your greenhouses are going and buying poisonous food from the supermarket. You
Well,
can fix stupid.
everything I was growing, they destroyed. And it's stupid because it wasn't going to feed just me. I could just eat so much. My chickens can only eat so much. So what would I do? I would sell it to the community. They wouldn't have to go to the grocery store. But no, they don't think that way. That's not their mindset. Their mindset is to destroy whatever I've created, whatever you create, destroy it. Because I've spent money, time, effort, destroy it. And if you start up again, they're going to destroy that too.
Yeah, but
they've killed my cat. They've killed my chickens. They set their dogs loose on my property. I mean, literally, the list is endless. And I call it real estate mobbing. It's happening across the country. But these people, this is a hate crime. It's a deliberate. It is absolutely on purpose, deliberate. And the fact that, getting back to the law, you report it to the police department, they do nothing. Sheriff does nothing. The county lawyer does nothing. You go to the attorney general of the whole state, does nothing. They send you, I contact the governor sends me the attorney general. I contact the local mayor, no phone calls back, no emails back. I contact the judge about doing work here for the last 4 years, nothing gets done. What else? I contacted the FBI. They hung up on me in New Jersey. I contacted the attorney generals both in Kentucky and in New Jersey. In New Jersey, the complaint that I filed was 61 pages. Attorney general sends my complaint back to the prosecutor, who I'd already contacted. Prosecutor sent it to the sheriff's department. I'd already contacted the sheriff's department. What does the sheriff's department do? They send it back to the Manalapan Police Department, who investigate their own selves to find my claims unwarranted. Case closed.
Find you mentally ill.
And then I file a complaint against my neighbors. I have it on recording, them tearing down my gate on his John Deere tractor wearing a black ski mask in month of May. A signed witness statement. His 15-year-old son witnesses too. Give it to the county lawyer. He doesn't want to file the complaint. I file a complaint, go into court. The judge is like a kangaroo court. I provide him with a brief, with a complaint, with statistics, with evidence. Nothing gets done.
We are dealing with self-destructive parasites, because what I've noticed is they hire and they pay the most useless and worthless people, because if we are going insane and have enough and we kill them, they are just disposable slaves. They don't care about them. And then they are basically getting the worst people on this planet and turning them against the most productive people on the planet.
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
Put it this way. You take someone who can't grow a plant, who never invented anything, who never came up with a solution, who's worthless basically.
Yes.
Who probably never had a proper job or a qualification or anything. He's a minimum wage slave who just pushes a trolley in a supermarket and takes one box and put it on the shelf. You turn those useless nobodies against the most productive. You kill the most productive, and what you have left is self-destructive slaves.
Yes.
And dependent slaves, because they don't want people like us, like you, like me, like hundreds and thousands others who are smart, who are educated, who are productive, who are independent, who are self-sufficient, because they can't take, advantage of us. First, they cannot take advantage of us by their corrupt system, because we are too smart to, be their slave. And second, we are too smart to to be dependent on them, because you throw us anywhere, we can grow our own food, we can do everything. And they don't want people like us. That's why we are the terrorists, we are the bad guys.
Disgusting. It's disgusting to go into somebody's yard and tear down their greenhouses. It's disgusting to go in there. And they are the three, I call them the three Masons, because we've got three of these cult lodges in my small town of under 800 people. There are three Mason lodges in my small town. I know that they're involved. They leave their symbols behind, their little triangles, their little glass triangles, their sticks that look like this. They perform some kind of ritual witchcraft where they take branches from my trees and put them in a circle around my property. I know exactly what they're doing. I have to spend a lot of time.
They are retarded. They are basically retarded. They are mentally retarded.
It's very sick. These are immature people. They're very immature that they have to do this to a single woman. It's not only, it's a hate crime, it's abusive, but think about this. Think about every one of these people has a mother and a father that gave them life.
Yeah, but their mother and fathers abused them as kids, and they sold them into sex slavery.
It's possible. I mean, anything is possible. But do they have children? They want their when they grow up, when they're older,
they are abusing their own children.
Nobody's going to be taking care of them. They're going to die. They're going to suffer because they have sold their souls to the devil, and they are involved in satanic rituals, at least around here. I mean, I know that. I know Dr. Eric Karlstrom's on his website. He's like one of the only people who injects the satanic agenda in his, when he's talking about targeting and stuff. There are not very many other people that inject that, and I appreciate that because that is happening.
He's the genuine one. He's
yes.
very good information. His website is banned on Facebook, so that's how you know. I was trying to share one of his articles on Facebook, and Facebook wouldn't let me. So that's how you know he's genuine. Because
I'm not on Facebook a lot, although I do have a page called Targeted Pets, where I've posted a lot of evidence about what they've done to my cats. And I also have another Facebook page. Again, I'm not on there. Maybe once a month I get on there, called Gangstalking, Vandalism Patterns, Target Patterns on Facebook. So I do have two other Facebook pages, including my original, just my name and stuff, but I hardly get on there anymore. Every once in a while I'll post some evidence on there. But even Targeted Pets, that I've had for, 6-7 years up there, was used and posted as their own on their own website. I'm not going to say who it is. You can all go and try to figure out who it is that wrote Targeted Pets or Pets. Now they switched it around, like Pets Targeted, but they were using the words Targeted Pets on their website. Really just recently, in the last few months or the last year and stuff, when I've had that page up and have been talking about pets being targeted for years. So, it really unnerves me that these criminals can go after an individual like me through their animals, try to discredit me, okay? They try to discredit you by setting you up and whatever, calling you crazy. Well, I'm going to say it again for the record, for anybody who's listening for the first time. I have a master's degree in psychology. I have an undergraduate degree in psychology, abnormal, deviant, and violent psychology with concentration in addiction. I completed all my addiction counseling courses. I'm a Reiki master teacher. I've got 2 corporate human resources certifications, I was a notary public in New Jersey and in New York City. I was a corporate HR manager. I had my own staffing business. Like, I was a very productive, successful woman. Even when I went through a horrific 3.5-year long divorce, I still have a daughter that has 2 master's degrees. They're just trying so hard to discredit, like you said, the best people. And I'm not saying that I'm like the best person. You know, I've got my flaws and stuff, but I worked really hard my whole life. Nobody handed me this property. Nobody handed me my last house. I had divorce lawyers financially rape me of a total of $54,000 to get a divorce. One was more than $35,000 from one law firm who I firmly believe that may have nominated me into the program. And then, of course, they transfer you, they sell your information to all the local private contractors and anybody else who has a beef with you, who's envious or jealous or just greedy, wants to get their little pockets in whatever you've created for yourself. But I will say nobody handed anything to me. It's like, I don't know about you. I grew up in the Bronx. There were times when my parents were divorced where we didn't even have any food in the refrigerator. So I've had targeted people say, well, there are people in the targeted people that have more than we do and they should give to us. There was a woman like this on TikTok.
That's a perp. That's not a targeted. That's a perp. That's not a targeted individual.
TikTok. I do believe that this woman is targeted, but I believe that she holds some misguided beliefs about what is owed her just because she's been generous with people in the past. Nobody owes anybody anything. And if I choose to donate money to a targeted person for whatever reason, or to an animal rights group or anybody else, or anonymously or not, it's my prerogative. Like, don't come after me like, oh, well, she's got property. Oh, I worked hard for everything I own. I worked my ass off. I had 4 jobs during my divorce once. I see people around here, they never go to work. I never see people working around here. Maybe there are a couple of people, the younger guys around here. Nobody works around here. Everybody's home collecting money from the government or, getting whatever, to target me. So, yeah, so I just want to say that for the record, like nobody handed me anything. We grew up extremely poor and my mother worked to support us. And we were what was called latchkey kids, where my mother would leave us home alone and we had to fend for ourselves until she came home at night, which could be 8 o'clock at night from her job, doing hair, as a hairstylist. So yeah, for all those people out there that think I'm entitled, and I've heard this before, that I've worked hard for everything I have. Nobody handed me my degrees. Nobody handed me my property. Nobody handed me anything. And I worked through some of the hardest times of my life through a divorce and stalking and all of this. So if I can do it too, you can do it too. I mean, yes, God gave me the gift of perseverance and persistence and stuff. And I'm a strong person, but this is disgusting what is happening. And I will say it out loud because I know the criminals are listening. You sold your souls to the devil, and we're turning into a Nazi Stasi America, thanks to people like you. So you're going to get what you deserve too. After I'm long and gone, you're the little soldiers for these people. You know what they do with these soldiers? They know too much. They got to get rid of them. They're going to get rid of them. Get rid of somebody like me. They need to keep people like you and I here because they can profit off of us. They're not profiting off of them. They have to pay these losers. And after they pay them, they're going to want their money back.
Take money from us to pay the losers so the losers can kill us.
That's actually the way it works. I don't know. At least that's the way the mafia did it back in the day, like when I was growing up. That's the way the mafia did it. But they actually didn't target women and children. They had some morals and decency. Not
These
today.
parasites don't have anything anymore. pure parasitic.
I call them predators. They're psychotic.
I call them parasites.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like racist again, but all the roads lead to Rome, and all the roads lead to the Jews. Because the final plan, their plan, is to kill every single person on this planet, or at least the majority of it, like 90%. They will keep a few slaves to work for them. They won't kill like everyone. They will keep a few to be their slave. That's why they are keeping these worthless, obedient slaves, and they are paying them, because these worthless, obedient slaves are worshipping them like gods. and killing the strong people, because at the end they want to kill the majority of people, all the races, and keep the entire planet for themselves. That's why they
Well,
are making the wars against white versus black, black versus Muslim, Muslim versus Christian, Christian versus this. But why nobody is against the Jews? Have you ever asked yourself that? Why nobody is attacking the Jews? Only the Jews are attacking the rest of the people. Have you
I tend
noticed that? You can't
people
even
like,
say nothing about them.
but I will say that in the depopulation, we already know. This is like a fact already that they have cloned every person on this planet, particularly the targeted people. They have our DNA, they have our brain frequencies, they know our qualities, they know everything about us. They've already cloned us. So if they got rid of you and I, they could literally create another one of us in their lab, in their little whatever they do, wherever they're storing all this data that they're collecting at the fusion centers and around the world in their database. Why do they need to know what I ate for breakfast this morning? Does
They
it
won't
really
be
matter?
successful with my clone. If that clone is that stubborn like I am, they won't be successful with that clone. They will destroy them. So probably that's not a good idea to make a clone like more of me. They have enough dealing with one.
You know what? Why would they want to clone all the targeted people? Because we're the ones that are just going to keep fighting for
They're
justice.
just yeah, they are grown this way to take advantage of and rule over other people, and they are kind of narcissistic and mentally ill in a way, because
Yes.
they see the qualities in other people and they want what other people have.
Yes.
But instead of, like that parasite said about your property, it's your fault. Instead of making you an offer to buy you the property, they made you look like it's your fault. The exact same thing. They want us, they love us, but they want to control us. And they
Yes.
can't control us, because I will never let someone who's like a dumb motherfucker to control me. And
Yes.
basically, I don't want to brag about it or say that I'm the best person on this planet, but I am worth like an unlimited amount of money, because the projects that I invented and the projects that I was planning to work on, they are the most important things on this planet, which is energy, which I came up with a few free energy devices, how to modify what already is, but that if you modify it, it's like your own invention. So I came up with 2 ideas for that. I discovered like the permaculture. I didn't discover it myself, but I combined the permaculture with a few more agricultural techniques and tactics, which could fit the people and keep them healthy. That's there is water. You can have water filters, CO2 filter. So basically, I could turn any human being into a self-sufficient person.
Yes. You've invented a lot of helpful devices.
And yes, and if I would monetize all that, my net worth would be like in the trillions of dollars. If I would have to monetize everything, because just do the math and add how much is the entire energy,
Absolutely.
like the electricity cost. Just that. Leave alone the food and the rest. Just that.
Let's not talk about the electricity costs. I got a $319 electric bill this month.
Yeah, and they are coming in to me, offering me nothing, like a small fraction of a penny, like 0.0.001 of a penny, to become their slave.
Yes.
Do you see where I'm coming from?
But
It's like me going on your property, taking over everything you have, and giving you like a penny. I would say, okay, Lorraine, now everything you have, it's mine. You will work for me, and you will get paid a penny per month.
Well, historically,
And you should be grateful, because I offered you the opportunity. Why don't you just fuck off with your opportunity?
Right, right.
Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yes.
And
Well,
when I tell people, they'll be like, "Oh, why didn't you accept the offer? What do you mean? Why didn't you accept the offer? Would you accept the offer to take me taking over your everything and giving you a penny per month?"
no, of course not.
You see? Exactly.
I mean, that's stupidity. That's just,
That
it's like,
yeah.
yes,
I would just no. I can't do that.
yes,
It's messed up. Like we are
yes,
dealing with narcissists, we are dealing with pedophile, we are dealing with delusional people, and these delusional narcissists and pedophiles are ruling the world for hundreds, if not thousands of years. It's their system.
yes, yes. I would
And
like to know from the people that are going to view this, how many people have owned property that are targeted or not targeted, let's say, that these techniques or tactics have been used against them. And also, how many targeted people out there have either filed a lawsuit, filed complaints with the Attorney General, filed complaints with the prosecutor, uh, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and what the results were. Also, I'm going to say for the record, I want to say it on the air, beware of the online FOIA request company called Muckrock, Muckrock. I filed 41 public FOIA requests. And after I filed my criminal complaint against the county lawyer here and the sheriff's department to the attorney general, who probably contacted the criminals here, they took down my Muckrock account. So all of my 41 paid for public record FOIA, Freedom of Information requests, government documents were removed from the internet. On the Manalapan Police Department, the Jackson County Sheriff's Department, the county lawyer here, neighbors that have filed complaints against me for burning in my burn pit in the middle of my 64 acres of land. Okay, file a complaint that I'm burning. And in Kentucky, by the way, we are allowed to burn our trash in Kentucky. Just the way you're allowed to own, firearms and stuff. We're allowed. I'm in a rural area, So yes, I had a neighbor complain that I was burning trash in the middle of my field. So I had a FOIA request about that. Every one of my requests is taken down. So I want to warn people. And if you go to the terms of service, of Muckrock, they specifically state, and this will tell you who they're in bed with and who funds them. We will not accept FOIA requests on gang stalking, electronic harassment, because it is proven non-productive to our website.
I wanted to swear now, but I will not. I swear enough. I mean,
you can request any official you want, but you cannot file a request on gang stalking, microwaves, electronic harassment, because it's unproductive to their site. Meanwhile, I didn't file requests for any of those. And my complaint was under alleged criminal investigation. They removed not only all 41 of my requests that were public record, that I paid for them to be public record, they deleted my entire account. So I want to alert you guys out there that this is the way Muckrock behaves. And the fact that I requested, and they're a nonprofit, and as a nonprofit, when you request their tax returns they're supposed to be online, and they haven't been since 2019, and then claim that they're there, and they're not. And then I sent them a certified letter, and they refused to sign for it. So please beware of Muckrock, the online FOIA community. They are involved in censorship.
By law, they should answer to any formal letter or any former email address.
That's
You
right.
cannot just refuse to do it, because by law you are the slaves, like the government slave, and that's your job. And if you
Yes.
are refused to doing your job, you are just going against the law.
Yes.
But they are doing that a lot, and I'm going to add my part about the legal part and when I lost faith in the legal part.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on that before you start. If any citizen journalist is watching this and you want to do a story on Muckrock censorship, please contact me at alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. I would like a citizen journalist to publicize what Muckrock has done, and likely to maybe other people who have filed complaints. But this is wrong. It's really wrong. And they never refunded me for the 41 requests that they removed either. So if there's a citizen journalist out there that wants to do a story about Muckrock censoring public records, please contact me.
Just say your email address once again, because it couldn't be heard.
Yeah, it's alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. You can just place Muckrock in the subject heading, or FOIA requests or whatever. I would like that. And also, if you're having property damage, bona fide property damage, and if you've reported it and nothing has been done, I would like to hear about that. If you're a targeted person, because these are really egregious. I mean, it goes into the hundreds of thousands of dollars of property damage in New Jersey and in here. We're not talking about like a little bit. We're not talking about a little dent here, a little dent there. I'm talking about major property damage, tearing down trees, burning them from the inside out, tearing down 3 greenhouses, burning all of your food supply, killing your chickens. I mean, literally the list is endless. Drilling holes in a chicken coop, drilling holes in a new building, burn marks on my ceiling here. Literally, the list is endless. This is not surveillance. Karen Stewart wrote an article for the Activist Post about how is this surveillance? Hey, if you want to watch me eat my breakfast, I don't like it, but stay out of my house. Stop burning my body. Stop killing me. Stop torturing me. This is not surveillance. This is torture. And I am a sane person. I do not consent. And I'm going to say it on the record. I do not consent. You do not have permission to record, separate, videotape, surveil, eavesdrop me in the privacy of my own home without my permission. You don't have permission to go into my laundry. You don't have permission to go into my handbag and steal my belongings. You don't have permission to get into my chicken coop in my cat's building and torture my animals. And or you don't have permission to trespass my property and throw IEDs, explosives on my property to try to get me to move. Not only do I not consent, but what you're doing is criminal. And I ain't ever shutting up about it. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to say those things.
I'm glad you did, because, you know, like I said in the beginning, I don't want to make it as an interview. And if I say something, you can add something to it. And if you say something, I can add something to it. And I'm going to add this. All the human rights went out of the window and basically extinct, non-existent anymore since 9/11.
Absolutely.
Everybody focused on the war in the Middle East. That was one part of the agenda of the 9/11.
Mhm.
Everybody knows they killed their own people, so it's nothing to hide anymore. It was an inside job. Was not only to kill their own people, to take over the Middle East, to destroy the Middle East. It was always to introduce new laws, surveillance, and new terrorist acts, and all that bullshit they went on, and everything intensified since then.
The insurance policy too.
insurance fraud and everything. I lost faith in the law and in the police long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, let me put it this way. Maybe I have a bit of luck because of my father and of my family, because the police always protected me. Like, the police took me out from the streets, took me to the police station. I gave them my name. They let me go. We were a group of teenagers. They gave fines to all of us, for disturbing making too much noise in the neighborhood. They didn't give me any fines. I went once to a party. I was still in the high school. I went to a party to this girl, and then I went out from the balcony, like without the top, naked, and I was arguing with the police on the streets. They were sending me home, and I was just telling them to fuck off. And then the next day, my father came home and said, "Why are you arguing with the police? And you know that the girl you've been to, her father is a police officer. So she wasn't from the same city." And somehow my father knows and my uncle, because like I said, on my uncle's party, when that police officer, which was, because now they are divorced, was the husband of my cousin. They are police officers, and most of the guests were police, so they kind of know me. And I kind of trusted the police because the way they treated me before.
Yes.
But now, when I became a victim of this program, and I saw, even if I know they know me. I don't know me like we are not friends. They know me in that way, like friends. They know my father, they know my uncle, they know my,
Right.
relatives. They are all Freemasons and all work for the governmental institutions, firefighters, police, all sorts of, stuff like that, secret services and shit like that. And even though they know me, they still fuck up my life.
Of course.
I lost trust in them, even though they know me personally, and I know a lot of them, and they offered me to join them.
Yes.
They were a bit kinder with me than with other people. I could say that, so I give them some credit for that. But if I refuse to join you, why the fuck don't you let me alone? If you want me.
Precisely.
If I'm a horrible person, right? You don't ask me to join you.
Exactly.
And you offer me money to join you. If I was that horrible person who slept with your wife, who tried to kill you, who stole from you, who owns you money, who is a pedophile, who's gay, who's like, the stories can go on, the lies about me. If I'm that horrible person, you don't offer me money to join you, right? Even after all of that, they are still fucking up my life, and they are still not helping me. Talking about the legal part, this is the personal, my bit of personal history with the Freemasons. Talking about the legal part, I called like a cyber police in Romania a few years ago, and I said to that motherfucker, I said, "Listen, I want my phone scanned, and I want to know who hacked my phone." He said, "We can't do that." "What do you mean you cannot do that?" He said, "Because you cannot call in and ask us to do anything, put on a request, if you don't have any damage done to you."
Right. I hear you.
I said, "Listen, I have a damage. A few months prior to that, someone made a fraud on my account for like 80 cents or something like that. I didn't even report it to the police. I was just reporting to the bank, and they just give me the money back and cancel my card." And I said, "Listen, I have a fraud on my account." "Okay, but if you have a fraud, you cannot come to the cyber police. You have to go to the other police. Like, they have different departments." I said, "Listen to me. Why am I paying you money, your salary, if you are sending me to other police? And what you are insisting," because he said like 10 times, restart your phone to factory setting. I said, listen, I'm not going to restart anything because I want you, it's your duty and your job, you're the police, cyber police, to investigate who's into my phone.
Yes.
It's like you are telling me to delete the evidence, basically.
Yes. Not only that, but they want you to do their jobs.
Yes.
It's not your
And
responsibility. Yes. It's
and
your only
I was
responsibility. Crime.
on the phone with him for like an hour. I called like 4 or 5 different times. At the end, he said to me, I'm sorry. I do apologize. I don't know what to say. I don't know what else to do. Please stop calling. I mean, I completely legally and I never swore. I never said anything like badly. I never overreacted. I was rational. I was patient. I was professional. I explained him why he should help me. And at the end, he said, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to do and say. I said, okay, you are incompetent and you shouldn't be there. And I ended the conversation. And then I went to the other police, the one he sent me. I took the phone and I took the letter from the bank with the fraud. And I said, listen to this. I want you guys to help me out to catch the motherfucker. First, they harassed me inside the police station because it's like a hallway, like a waiting area. I was
Yes.
harassed there by the police officers. Then I went like upstairs because it's a big building in one of the offices. And in that office, they tried to convince me that is not worth the effort. They basically told me to fuck off in a nice way.
Right.
Because what they said to me, I'm not sure if I'll explain for those who don't understand what I'm going to say. He said to me, we are going to take your phone in. We are going to do the investigation. We are going to find the IP address. And then if the IP address is from a different country, then the things are going to be complicated because we have to contact the police from a different country, and it's going to be probably, he said to me, you only have like 80 cents missing. Is all this necessary?
Still a compromise.
He knew I'm a targeted individual and I want to catch the motherfuckers who hacked my phone. But we couldn't discuss that way because they will put you into a mental asylum if you say things that you shouldn't say in the wrong place. So I know what to say, when to say it. And I kept it to the phone. And I said, okay, thank you very much for your help. Then I'm good. I will leave it as it is. I'm not going to leave the phone here. Everybody who uses internet knows that you can even use a VPN address to connect to a different location.
Yes.
And someone who does fraud and all that sort of stuff, they won't use their home IP address. That's obvious. So that kind of, he cut me off and said, okay. And that was my last hope with the police, that they will help me, because I could probably buy the software myself and scan the phone and everything, but that's not official. If you want to take it to the court or take it a step forward, that would you have to be official. So
they want you to have a police report. They want an incident report. So, a lot of reasons why a lot targeted people do file reports, even though nothing's going to happen, is to have the documentation for a future court appointment. You go into court and you say, hey, my property was trespassed here, vandalized here, this was stolen. The court judge is going to say, where are the police reports? So it's a catch-22.
Where is the proof? Where is the...
Exactly. It's a catch-22. And then here, where I live, you get a copy of a police report, you look at it, it's empty. There's nothing written on it. Blank sheet of paper. When I reported $700 item stolen from my driveway, I get a blank sheet of paper back.
Talking about the police reports, I'm going to tell you a short story about me. I'm going to be quick.
And then after that, I really am going to have to go because we're into more than an hour and a half.
Yeah, so we are not going to discuss the part when the solution part. We might leave that for other time.
We'll leave it to another time because I've got to check on my animals and.
Okay, just to talk about the police report and how corrupt they are and how they are not going to help us, and we might leave what we can do for the targeted community ourselves. We leave that for the next interview.
Okay.
So the police report. I went to Singapore to try to build my free energy device to open a company there. I done everything on paper because I knew my devices were hacked. I went out for a walk. When I came in, the floor was mopped. When I went to the police and I saw some of my stuff being moved around, when I went to the police to file a report, they messed up my name. They messed up my address. Like you said, the report was nothing what I said in it.
Yeah.
They were blaming it because I'm not from Hong Kong. I'm just tourist there because I didn't went to the process. I was just in there to start the process. I was like right at the beginning. I was sabotaged by the police for that time as well. So the police won't help us.
No.
That's why we need to discuss in our next chat.
Yes.
What can we do for ourselves? And that might be our only, like the only way to help ourselves, help each other, and like make it work so we can have a decent life.
We can brainstorm.
We leave the next chat only for that, so we can take it like a long debate with ups and downs and pros and cons.
Well, it's great having this chat again, and hopefully everybody out there, the listeners, got something out of it. And any questions and comments, you leave them on either one of our channels, and I'll look forward to seeing the video and the comments that people leave. Hopefully we won't get one of those trolls leaving that ridiculous comment.
If we get trolls, we will delete the messages. Thank you everyone for watching. Let's hope everyone got this far and we made it educational and informal. Thank you very much again. I'm going to end this here.
Like, share and subscribe to keep in touch.